Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about futurology and let's start with the definition.
Futurology, this is a term which consists of two parts. Future, this is about how we'll live in several years or maybe 50 years, 100 years. Logy, this is about science, how to make it in scientific way. Futurology, this is a very unusual thing because we know about prognosis, we know about foresight. Already we have recorded this video. But futurology, this is about very high level imagination. This is about how to think about long-term perspective. This is not about business, this is not about market, this is about quite bigger issues, like for example, if there would be countries or big cities, if there would be islands, or for example, in the ocean, or they will go under the water, if we will fly on the planes or we will use starships, will we live in Venus, Mars, and Moon, and some other big planets around our system, or maybe we'll just stay on the ground and never will fly again.
And when it comes to futurology, somehow I could make like a connection of the dots with the philosophy, because it feels like there is a group of people who just have plenty of time to think about how their life how they love the life, and create all of the things. Obviously, it might be fundamental and monumental. And when it comes to futurology, who are those people who doing this, and how we can make sure see the output of their work?
You know, when you work for big company or for big companies, you will sometimes meet C-level people or B-level people. C mean chief of something, chief of staff, chief of technology, chief of execution, and B, this mean board people who sit on meetings. They sometimes know about new ideas, about new laws, about new possibilities, about some approaches that maybe already are testing, but not worldwide. For example, if people from Google or Apple or TMC or MCI, NVIDIA will sit together and will discuss what will happen in the future, they will find something. For example, several months ago, I was offered to be presented small card. It is like a flash card, but within there is a DNA, and there is just ability to record just 1,000 bytes. But this information could last for 5,000 years, and for sure it's not usable right now. This is a very small amount of information. But I was thinking, okay, if they already created 1 kilobyte, maybe in several years they will create petabyte, and in this case you will be able to record all your life completely, all the moments with sounds, with, for example, 4K quality for this DNA flash card. This is not possible right now because we have so-called auto-phoneme architecture in computer, where we have a memory, where we have central processor unit, we have some bridges and so on. But if everything would be on a small card, whole computer, so you could enter this in your pocket, and you will have your virtual keyboard, you will have your virtual sound, and you will have a virtual screen. And it's very funny. So you could live in both worlds in the same time. For example, you will make some point and you will see biggest screen you ever could imagine, or you will make another sound or gesture and you will see everything with the eyes of an eagle.
And if we try to formalize the work of the futurologists, or maybe like a futurology committee or congress of the futurologists, is it like a process or a project that they usually operate within?
You know, for them, this is like a process, but when they meet each other, this is like a project. So process this to be on the wave, to know all the researches, to learn all the patents, to speak with people who are on the waves. But when they make congress, they usually should think what we believe in nearest future, like for 30 or 50 years. And if you will be there, suddenly you will go for several stages. First stage, you will see, come on guys, what are you talking about? This is common nonsense. Then you will say, okay, I believe in some points, but if you will spend with them like 5 days, you understand that you are now living the future. They create future. Future is created not because it's happened, but because people construct it.
And in terms of like a measuring the well, not really productivity, but the outcome of like what exactly futurologists are doing, what might be some sort of like a KPIs or like how long it will take, obviously, to see the fruits of their discussions or theories that were presented.
You know, it's not related to real life. There is a society which exists in the world. It's so-called MENA society, and this society unites people with IQ something more than 180 points. I also enlisted in this society, but I have no idea what they do and if they have ever met, and if they create something useful. But if you use to go to this context of futurologists, or you will read some their articles, sometimes you will have a vision. Maybe you do not understand something. For example, even broken startups like Elizabeth Holmes with Tyrannos. This is a great idea. With one drop of blood, understand how many diseases have a person. And in 20 years, it's definitely it will happen. It's not about miniaturizing. It's about idea. For example, another way, we often order like pizza or some grocery to our houses, and it's maybe 10 or 20 years and we will have so special boxes close to our windows, and we will not use couriers or something like this. For example, in Moscow, you will see a lot of rovers. Do you know the word rover?
I know the word, but I don't know the meaning of.
You know, there's small boxes, black and white, on wheels with wire. On this wire, you will see the flag in triangle mode, and these rovers already uses to deliver something. So I could go out of my flat and I could pick up with my phone. When I will scan QR code, I will grab something in this box. And you know what's funny? It couldn't be opened without QR code, and it's work all the time. So for example, if I want even hot coffee in Moscow, I live in the middle of the city, I could order and it will be completely hot.
And when it comes to, like a biases, or like sometimes probably futurologists might be making mistakes in their assumptions. So what might be the common things they try to misinterpret or predict, and they might be going wrong?
You know, when we talk about analytics guy, we usually do not want them to make mistakes. So we ask them to be more sure about their prognosis. But when we talk about futurologists, this is not about mistakes. You know, there is in science fiction novels, you will learn that there is big amount of universes which are going in parallel, and we just switch our path. So sometimes something was predicted by futurologists, but we step in another direction and we choose another way. By the way, you remember this lecture about engine of electrical type was much better, but it happened that gasoline engine won a race, and everyone was thinking, okay, now it's a future. But all scientists were sure that electrical is much better, but our universe choose another way. So sometimes futurologists quite right, and in 20 or 50 years we will back to the track, to the road we missed several years ago.
Well, I do believe sometimes they would tell the common sense to slightly wait before there could be enough amount of money made so that they can proceed with what was predicted before. And my last question will be how knowing about futurology could help to make this world a better place.
Maxim, you know, you could understand this when you live, for example, for 20 or 30 years. For example, when I was moving to Moscow from Kiev, I suddenly realized that the air is too dirty. It smelled not so good, and it sometimes was not a clear vision. And there was a prediction that Moscow will use electrical buses. And I wasn't believing in it because I have never seen a capital of such a size which was using electrical buses. But right now, all the buses, or almost all the buses in in the Moscow are electrical ones, and I now live in middle of the city, and sometimes I even open the window. It was not possible 10 years ago. So this also was a future. And also I was thinking there was another project to put in Moscow River all time icebreakers, special Redison fleet. They will use like several trips per day, and people could see the Moscow and hear the voice of some recorded guide and so on. And now it works. Even when you have like 40 degrees minus, these icebreakers move through the water of the capital. And I was always thinking, what's the reason for this? From one side, it's quite nice to use this possibility all the year, but you know, you have spent so much fuel for it, but it happened.
Иногда, чтобы понять, что мы живем в будущем, нам стоит оглянуться на вчерашний день. А мы рассмотрели навык футурология и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира!